It's not me.
Well,
There goes $20.
Oh my God, that was perfect.
Thank you, Anthony.
Oh. Thank you, Chrononauts. Thank the light, everyone. I'm your pod mistress.
And I will be your Caesar Milan Sedai because it really looks like I'm going to get a dog tomorrow.
Shut up. What are you doing?
What am I doing? Well, the one weakness I have that I cannot say no to my wife because I don't want to about it is a sad story of a puppy.
Yeah.
So she texted me today. She's been like, we had that dog come over and just kind of end up in our yard. So she's been watching. People are really cool over here about like lost pets. Like there's a whole Facebook thing for all of Spokane. People are real communicative about it. It's actually really nice. But she came across this guy. He's like a 70-year-old like veteran. He's disabled. His like daughter, I think, found this dog in buttfuck middle of Washington, like starving in the street. Was like, hey dad, I know your dog's getting old. Like, why don't you adopt this girl? She's so sweet. Cool. Great. No problem. He's taking care of his senior dying dog, and she runs off in the woods and has 8 puppies because they didn't know that she was pregnant. And she's an older dog too. She's like got gray on her muzzle. She's got to be at least, 5 or 6, maybe older. And the puppies just look so sweet. And he's like, I really don't want to take him to like the pound or scraps. He's like, but I'm on limited income. I'm disabled. I got a senior dog to have a companion to take care of and rescue this little girl. And I didn't know that she was going to have puppies. And Lisa's just like, we maybe go see him. And I'm like, and Winston's dying for a friend, and Thor's kind of an old bitch. So I'm like, well, we could go meet him, I guess, which is pretty much the death nail.
That's code for we're getting a dog.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
Yeah. I remember when Kelly was like, let's go meet Chip. I'm like, okay, let's prep the car for a dog because
and here's my thing. I was kind of like, no. And then she kind of said, well, I've kind of picked out our last dogs and it's gone okay. I started thinking about it. So she rescued Tuna from this bartender guy that we worked with. It was just kind of an idiot. Not a bad dude, just, and he lived to be 18. Fucking great. Just a weird dog, but a great dog, right? Yeah. I picked out Marley from Kelly Drosba. Fucking love her. Worst dog ever. She's just terrible. She was mean and she was shitty. We went and got my dog Nala because of Lisa. She found her. And that was kind of like our first like pet together. And then Thor, obviously. And then I found Bella. She found Bella, but I was insistent on that we save her because Thor went so well, and she damn near killed Thor and Marley. So, and then she kind of found Winston, and then I started talking to this guy, and like Winston's like, I don't know if I can love a dog more than Winston. Like, yeah, he is like, and I love how much I love all of my fucking pets, man. Yeah. Winston is like, man, we have, 10 or 15 minutes before I go to work, I just go sit on the couch and he just comes and like sits on my lap. Like he's just, dude, one of those dogs when he looks at you, he looks in your fucking soul and you're like, yep, that's the meaning of life. Chip's a cutie like that, dude. He got them border collie eyes that can get you to do. I don't want to play for another hour. I will though.
But you're gonna.
But you're gonna, because I love you so much.
No, you don't want to play, but you want to play with me for another hour.
This guy right here, this guy.
And that's why Justin is our wolf brother.
Fucking right, man. How you doing, brother?
Oh it's everything is fine. I'm just over anticipating the holiday season. And
you ready for Christmas? You ready?
Oh God. Nope.
If I have to hear that one more time, I'm going to stab my own eyes out.
Yep. It's it's just we got the big house so we can have company, and we're getting company. So
I bet, because she's got a big family, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we're having the big family reunion on the 29th, and it's a small
Not
reunion.
Just Christmas. Whoa. Not just Christmas. We're having a family reunion.
Oh, I haven't told you about the family reunions?
Absolutely not.
Every year for
I can only assume because like you guys get together to do that shit in Hawaii, and it's just like just the dudes. So
yeah, well, and that was Big Papa, who isn't around anymore, so they don't really do
did he
that.
pass?
Yeah, he passed a long time ago, before Kelly and I even got married.
No, Kelly's dad is what I'm talking
Not
about.
Kelly's dad. Yeah, he's alive. But no, they do like
Okay,
COVID obviously fucked it up, but
right.
it's like 50 to 80 people all show up every year. And yeah,
Wow,
it's
and it's gonna be at your house. Thank
no,
God.
no, 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 no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no, no, no. It's at the
Oh,
country.
okay.
It's at the country club, bro.
Oh, my bad. What was I thinking? How many people are gonna be coming to your house? Probably.
4, 5, 6, including Will.
Okay, that's not too bad.
6. So there'll be 9
We had
total.
we had that at our house basically on Thanksgiving, and almost half of them stayed here in
Yeah.
our tiny house. Whatever. It's awesome. It was awesome. So
It's so weird because like I love family too, but I also love going to my own place at the end of it. And so I don't get it. Like I'm welcome. You're welcome to stay here if that's what you want to do, but I don't get it. Like how
here's directions to the nearest hotel.
how is it that you don't want to go to a hotel after being in our dumb house all day? I don't understand that mentality. So the
Well,
more
and
the
the
more the
people who
merrier.
stayed with us were Zoe, Connor, and my wife's ex-husband Russell.
Yeah.
I love
Oh,
that fucking guy. I love that fucking idiot, man. Dude, we've gotten just completely blasted together, and had some really great conversations just about kids and
dude, I bet you,
shared wives and co-parenting.
well, I bet you when Lisa gets really riled up, he just looks at you like, it's all you, bro.
No, you know what's funny? Because just first of all, for whatever it's worth, I want to say how proud of I am. She's like hasn't drank for like 15 days.
Oh,
And
wow.
I have my wife back, and I'm very, very happy, and she's feeling much better, and it's good. It's not even like a white knuckle thing. She's just like
Oh, good for
a couple of
her.
days after Thanksgiving, she started like puking blood, and it's like I know the threshold of how much she can throw up before I need to take her to the emergency room because she's dealt with a lot of stomach issues. And I'm
Yeah,
like, if it happens again in the morning, you're going to the emergency room. I don't give a fuck what you say. And luckily, it kind of subsided, and she's just like,
subsided.
I don't want to feel like that anymore. And I'm like, good, because I'm not gonna sit around and watch you do this anymore because it hurts a lot. So, but things have been great, and I'm really proud of her, and I would like to say that for the record. So
On behalf of all of my sober dads out there, it sucks. Sure, you feel great.
hey,
You
I didn't
feel
say
great
she
in the
was sober.
morning.
I
Yeah, that's
said she
true.
quit drinking, and
That's
I'm like I told her I was like I'll quit drinking. I don't really care. I was like I got into it because if you can't beat him, join him.
yeah. You can only work at so many bars before you start finishing the
Dude,
night.
Betty was the place that really got me, man. It was fine dining, and it was one of my favorite jobs ever. But those guys were typical. I had one guy that he was kind of a new dad, and he smoked a little bit of weed. That was it. Maybe a shot of Jameson. The other motherfuckers were degenerates and amazing chefs, and I identified with that.
Living that life, man. Dude, I crushed so many bottles of wine with Anthony. Holy crap. That's probably the most wine I've drank in my whole life is just finishing shifts with that guy.
Dude, Anthony could fucking put it down, man. That guy was a nut.
Mm-hmm. I don't drink. I just drink wine. Clank, 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 clank.
Until I do cocaine, then I go to the Happy Palace.
I don't. I don't usually do cocaine, but when I drink, I just get so thirsty. Or no, I usually don't. I fucked it up.
You fucked it up. Hey, officer,
I
I don't normally drink. I just get so thirsty when I do cocaine. That's an Ellen DeGeneres joke.
It's so great.
I was like, oh my God.
She's never
So
written
good.
one that good since, man. That was her last good joke, 1989.
Yeah. And was it, if that's actually right, I'm going to laugh.
Oh.
So, Des, are you sick of more setup? Or did you get something out of this chapter? Because I forget that I thought this was all one chapter. I forget that they break Rand's visions into 2 chapters.
So everybody, we're talking about the Shadow Rising, chapter 25, the road to the spear. The Shadow Rising, chapter 25, the road to the spear. And we have 21 new named characters.
Just in one chapter?
Yes.
Oh my God. No, really? Are you not exaggerating? Is there really 21 new characters in this chapter alone, like people we haven't heard about?
I think so, because Rand is the only person in this chapter we've heard of before, right?
I guess you're right.
There's Rand.
In the next one, they start getting the Age of Legends, and I think you hear a little bit about some of the Forsaken and stuff like that. But really, yeah, I guess they're pretty much all new characters.
Okay, everybody, you ready for this? In this chapter, we're going to be talking about Rand al'Thor, Mirrodin, Mindine, Suldra, Dermon, Myrdain, Nerissa, Cherendine, Roderick, Jerdum, Garum, Lewin, Morin, Luca, Giron, Charlin, Aja, Migraine, Colleen, Adon,
Migraine,
Narine, and Saraline. So there you go.
Okay.
All the old characters we know and love from the Wheel of Time are back.
So, you know what? I wish Jeremy was here so I could ask him, can we really be that mad at Rafe? He's following the pattern. There's a pattern emerging here, Rafe.
Yeah.
Just saying. And to be fair, I have heard of one of those characters. Do you know which one?
Probably one close to the top, I guess.
I'll stop. No, let me just stop you. It's Luca. He lives on the 2nd floor.
You fucker. I knew you were going there. I just couldn't dig up the lyrics fast enough.
Dumb joke. You know what? You killed it. You said.
I just love. I love my green sleeves.
Ooh, I know. Your arms are floating. You're like
fucking, my head.
Magic.
My head's way up here.
Do you believe in magic?
So this is. Yeah, obviously. Thank God. I listened to this chapter 2 weeks ago. I listened to this chapter today, and I read the Cliff Notes, of course. So I know what's generally happening here, but like how much of this really comes back? I mean, once he leaves, is he just like, I'm a chief and that's it? Or like,
it's not even that. This is just man, this is like the book version of an expo dump, basically. You're getting the history of the Aiel in 2 fucking chapters and Rand's history with those Aiel intertwined, basically.
Are we
what
seeing
you're seeing is
past
Rand's
life?
ancestors. You're seeing Rand's ancestors it's going back. I'm not sure where it starts exactly.
Yeah.
It's because at this point, and Jeremy is, he's our historian. It would be helpful if he was here because he would have a better answer than this than me. I'm thinking that, like, this is the Charlock Wars, I think, happened basically where we're at, like 1,000/1,500 years ago ish. So it's a long time ago. And then, the breaking was 3,000. So I'm thinking that this is kind of their, I can't tell because you hear him talking about Rhuidean and then you hear him talking about crossing the dragon wall. So I couldn't tell if it was kind of going backwards or forwards. And I couldn't tell if they were talking about being in where civilization is now. And then we're going to cross to the Threefold Land and then they got stuck there and it's shit. I'm thinking that it was the Threefold Land, which is the Aiel Waste, used to be pretty good. The breaking happened and it dried up into a desert and they went. The Tinkers is what you're seeing is who the Jin Aiel are.
So it says here, so yeah, I didn't really get, because I thought it was telling a story in order, but it says halfway through the Cliff Notes, Rand knows the glass columns are showing him the lost history of the Aiel. Each step takes him further back in time.
Mm-hmm.
But they're telling a story in order, though, aren't they? Like, it sounds like they're telling
going backwards towards the breaking. So when you listen to the next chapter, we will get closer and closer, and then you eventually go back to like right when Lanfear opened the bore, and one of Rand's ancestors was one of the Daishan Aiel that was like, they were like her house elves basically. They were attached to her.
But this chapter tells a linear story of someone getting taken from a clan, the clan going back to get her, and then murder occurs in order.
There's 3 different visions, though. That's just one of the visions. Like, okay, so the first vision is you see Rand going and you see Meridian. Meridian is Couladin's, I believe, older brother, and he is going to be a clan chief. We hear Couladin talking about how he's been gone, I think, for at least a couple of days already.
Oh.
And then he's kind of petitioning like, okay, well, he's not coming back. I'm next in line to go be the clan chief. Let me go to Rhuidean. And they're like, no, because you don't have permission. And basically they think that you would be a bad clan chief. And so you are denied permission to enter Rhuidean, basically.
Rand is.
No, Couladin.
Oh, okay.
Even though his brother is the guy who's in the columns, Meridian, right now, that Rand sees.
Yeah,
he can't. And as Rand gets further and further, he'll see Meridian, and Meridian's getting more and more distressed by what he's seeing, because what they're showing you is basically the Aiel. Like, at first the Aiel were all Gen Aiel.
Yeah,
they did no violence. They were basically all servants, for lack of a better term. That was their lot in life. They were a class amongst themselves that were very well respected. People didn't treat them poorly, and people wouldn't even do violence in front of them, much less to them. Okay. And then it all started to change, and that's what you see in these visions. You see them going from, basically, I believe, like, it's like a halfway point. I don't know the time period exactly, but you got to think, like, after a certain amount of time, they started to try to build Rhuidean as a place for the Gen Aiel to be safe, grow the Chora trees, and protect the Aes Sedai Turing Girl, or not protect them per se, but guard them, whatever, document them, whatever it is. And then, for whatever reason, the Aes Sedai start to leave. They pack up as much of shit as they can and start to leave. Some of the Gen Aiel go with them, and the rest kind of start to spread out. And as more and more violence is done to the people, the Gen Aiel who've split, eventually that's the story you're talking about. I believe, like, they have a small band, some men come, they take one of the daughters and one of the mothers, and they sexually assault them, they beat them, they keep them around as just like their playthings, and a couple of the men go to rescue them just to kind of like kidnap them back, and then they end up fighting for their lives. One of them, I think, grabs a kettle, and then one of them stabs the guy with a knife. So that's where we get to, where we're going. Like, I'm mixing up all these 3 visions, but there's 3 separate visions. And, the first vision is they mention about some of the Gen Aiel are looking for the song, trying to preserve the peace. They talk about how they don't pick up weapons. But then there's an Aiel who's been asked to go to Rhuidean to meet. And I think it's an Aes Sedai who had like a prophecy, or, maybe it was even an Aes Sedai who was raised from the Gen Aiel. I don't know. But they say, if you don't change your ways, the Aiel will die. Right. Okay. And that's a prophecy. And that could mean a lot of things. Right. But they talk about how you can't go to Rhuidean armed. And because there's water there, you're not supposed to even bring your own water. And Rhuidean was kind of a vision of a place for the Aiel to live in safety, and it never really materialized.
So this is kind of,
it's like half.
It seems like from the Gen Aiel, the Aes Sedai, the like, some of them broke off because they talk at some point. They mention that someone wants to go build the White Tower.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's mentioned. So, and then
I think a lot of the Aes Sedai, when they are leaving Rhuidean, they're going to kind of join this faction of whoever's trying to do that, and that's why they bring so
Okay.
many Turing Grill to the tower, I believe.
And then also the Tinkers. Someone says Tinker in this chapter once, right?
Yes.
Oh.
Not even Tinker. They just talk about the way. I don't even think they say the way of the leaf. I just think they say the way. And then they
Yeah.
mention looking for the song, which is something that the Tinkers mention as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
maybe
right.
Rand says, oh, maybe Rand says to himself in between one of the visions, like, oh, that seems like the Tinkers or something. But
so this is like
not sure.
the beginning of the fractioning of the Gen Aiel into Aiel.
And it's been happening
Aes
too. It's
Sedai,
been happening for a
Tinkers.
while where some Aiel have been breaking
Yeah.
off, and they're living in the waste, and they're surviving however they can, including doing violence.
But this is when the spear. This is when the spear is invented, for lack of a better term. Someone breaks a spear so that a woman can wield it better. And
yeah, that's the third vision, and actually, that what you're seeing is basically the first maiden of the spear.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and they explain you're getting little clips of little things where they're saying, like, you know, the Gaishan or the Daishan, but that becomes Gaishan. They don't do violence. They are servants of all. They're meek. And so that's kind of where the Aiel get their Gaishan and white, even though they get them by kind of a twisted reason. Same with like going to Rhuidean unarmed, so that you can learn the history, so that you don't. And that's kind of the Aiel's loophole, right? They'll send a clan chief to learn, but he doesn't go back and tell his whole clan about it. It's for them to learn and know so that they maybe won't make. I'm not really even sure. It's dumb. It's like, oh, don't make these mistakes. It's like, what mistakes? Peacefulness? Like,
yeah.
Like, why would we destroy it if we, it's like, I think what it's trying to say is like, you need to stop fighting, but also, I don't know.
But if we stop fighting, then we'll die off.
We'll all die. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those catch-22s, like in everything. It's just like, Jesus, come on.
Yeah.
They mentioned that, we don't use swords because swords are for killing, a bow, a spear can put food on the table, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I could kill a deer with a sword. Watch me. Watch me.
You could. Is it the most efficient way? No, but yes.
No. But
unless you're Deadpool, you can throw it. Keep name out your fucking mouth. When he throws the sword, he bounces the sword into that guy's mouth. It's gross. Also, the second vision, did it make you crazy when they talk about snow not existing again?
No,
the old ones talk of the snow. Maybe the white stuff on the mountains is snow.
I mean,
maybe it's cocaine. I don't know.
I mean, now that you bring it up, it does make me crazy because this isn't too far off from the breaking when everybody knew everything.
It's pretty far off from the breaking. It's a couple of generations at least.
All right.
So that's what one of the things actually. Okay, good point. That's one of the things that leads me to believe that they've been in the wastes, the desert, scrounging over water and any kind of shade that they can find for at least a few generations, right?
Does one of these factions break off and start the two rivers?
I don't think so.
Because they talk about settling where there are. I think they actually say two rivers.
I think that at a certain point, like I'm and this would another thing with Jeremy. He may know, he may not, but wow, all the Aiel are very tall and red haired, and obviously a certain group stayed, and another large group left and settled what is called, I think, the Westlands, or people call it Randland. I can't remember. Westlands might be the Westlands might be a different book. That might be the Terry Goodkind action. Yeah, okay. Westlands, Midlands. Never mind. That's wrong. But yeah, Randland, if you will.
Don't ever say that again.
The land between Kinslayer's dagger and the Aerith Ocean.
Hey, Judd, Rafe, if you want to change anything, don't call it Randland. do us all a favor. Leave that in the books.
Yeah, that one's pretty bad. That's not even a book thing. That's a fandom thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like they call it like the Rand does some shit towards the end to like kind of set new borders and treaties and stuff, and so that they call Randland the most like kind of updated version of the world map, if you will.
Awesome. You want to play a little clip?
Yeah, do it.
Start it at. I'm having trouble with my playback here, folks. Start it at 12:25.
Whoop, that's not what we want. Call them the beat nuts, not the rhyme nuts. Whatever.
Ice like a parade. Now you flap in like a mermaid.
Like a mermaid. No, not Harry Potter either, y'all.
At the bar bagging the bartender tips. She did a butterfly, rubbing the ass against my button fly. I can already imagine my shit stuck inside. Every time I strike, haters be like, that fucking guy.
The road to the spear.
That fucking guy. Okay, what was the timestamp, brother?
12:25.
12.
It don't take much for us to let the metal holler, and that's busting out of an old black Impala.
I just love that, like, nobody that I ever am around like knows who the Beat Nuts are, but this dude I work with, he's from San Francisco, and he's like 41-ish. A homie named Bo. And anytime I play like Beat Nuts or like Nicotine or something, he's like, ooh. He's like, he figured out, he's like, you're from Cali, huh? I was like, how'd you know? He's like, Nicotina, Beat Nuts, E40. Yeah, bro, let's go.
Keek the sneak, bro.
Exactly. You said 12:20 even?
12:25.
All right,
12:20 will be fine.
Him as being a dick. Stop. Oh my God. All right, I'm starting at 12:10.
All right.
Here we go.
Place. And now we prepare it. If not for the purpose we once thought. We do what we must and keep faith. Mundine studied the man's face. There was no fear in it. You are Aiel, he said. And when some of the other chiefs gasped, he raised his voice. I will go to the Gen Aiel. You may not come to Rhuidean armed, Dermon said. Mundine laughed aloud at the temerity of the man, asking an Aiel to go unarmed. Shedding his weapons, he stepped forward. Take me to Rhuidean, Aiel. I will match your courage. Rand blinked in the flickering lights. He had been Mundine. He could still feel contempt for the Gen, fading into admiration. Were the Gen Aiel, or were they not? They had looked the same, tall, with light-colored eyes and sun-darkened faces, dressed in the same clothes except for lacking veils. But there had not been a weapon among them, save for simple belt knives, suitable for work. There was no such thing as an Aiel without weapons. He was farther into the columns than a single step could account for, and closer to Muradin than he had been. The Aiel's fixed stare had become a dire frown. Gritty dust crunched under Rand's boots as he stepped forward. His name was Roderick, and he was nearly 20. The sun was a golden blister in the sky, but he kept his veil up and his eyes alert. His spears were ready, one in his right hand, 3 held with his small bullhide buckler. And he was ready. Jordan was down in the brown grass flat to the south of the hills, where most of the bushes were puny and withered. The old man's hair was white, like that thing called snow the old ones talked of, but his eyes were sharp, and watching the well diggers haul up filled water bags would not occupy all of his attention. Mountains rose to the north and east, the northern range tall and sharp and white-tipped, but dwarfed by the eastern monsters. Those looked as if the world was trying to touch the heavens, and perhaps did. Maybe that white was snow? He would not find out. Faced with this, the Gen must decide to turn east.
Might be marshmallow.
They had trailed north along that mountain for long months, painfully dragging their wagons behind them, trying to deny the Aiel that followed them. At least there had been water when they crossed a river, even if not much. It had been years since Roderick had seen a river he could not wade across. Most were only cracked, dry clay away from the mountains. He hoped the rains would come again and make things green once more. He remembered when the world was green. He heard the horses before he saw them, 3 men riding
That's an
across the
Aiel
brown
saying.
hills, alone with
That's
shirts.
probably enough. I thought it was gonna.
So
I thought it was gonna.
That's
go
an
somewhere.
Aiel. Well, no, that says important shit because two things.
Yeah.
They say that they remember when the world was green. So the first person, I think, first of all, they could have named him a little bit different than Mundine, Meridian. You know, it's a little confusing. Just saying, whatever. Anyways, that's nitpicky. But they mentioned a couple of things. You can't go to Rhuidean armed. He says, I'll match your courage. They're not sure if snow exists. And then, the last thing was something that was really important. Of course, that's the really thing I want to talk about, and I forgot. So go ahead. I'll try to remember.
Yeah, I don't really know. I'm having trouble coming up with talking points for this chapter. I'm not going to lie. Part of it is I'm preoccupied, and part of it is just that like it's another setup chapter, and like I said, especially a setup chapter with 21 new characters that we may or may not ever hear from again.
Yeah.
It's definitely important stuff. Like Rand is learning a lot, but this is all stuff that is gonna play out through Rand.
Yeah.
Now again, Rand, none of these are Rand's past lives. These are all just ancestors.
These are ancestors. I think the first dude is his possibly great grandfather. I think it may be like great. Also, something that he mentioned in here kind of cleared something up for me. So basically, all the Aiel who are on the waste used to be Gen Aiel. They're the ones who literally got sick of it and started fighting and killing and raiding and whatever. So the Tinkers are what's left of the Gen Aiel. They're obviously not like a race of people or a region or a country of people who all look very similar. The Tinkers are widely based. They are traveling. They pick up people from all over wherever they go. So they are no longer any kind of a version of, I mean, maybe a few of them, just by happenstance have some blood of Aiel in them, down the line, but they are not Aiel, like the typical, fair haired, tan skin, light eyes,
Rand looking motherfuckers.
Right. People look like Aiel to the point where it's like, oh my God, you must be Aiel. And if you're not, it's way more of a shock, than like you're not. So,
yeah. I know I should.
It's cool. You get Aiel traveling, and you get to really see the split. Like I said, that was actually, I'm glad you picked that clip because that actually really answered a question for me right away. And they even make a comment that it sounds like Rhuidean is at least partially Ogier built.
Yeah.
So,
let me see.
And then I think you hear about him talking about the Dragon Wall. I'm pretty sure that's the Aiel who are going to leave the waste. Not they're not trying to get there.
Is it Roderick? No, Muradin is the one.
Yeah, no, that's
Rhuidean.
Roderick talking about that. Mundine is his like great grandfather, I believe. And by the time you get to the third vision, Muradin that's Couladin's brother. You can tell like he's snarling at the visions, and I think he eventually starts to like claw his eyes out. Like he's not going to make it. Basically, is what I'm saying.
Muradin was a Shido Aiel.
Yep, that's Couladin's brother. Mundine is Rand's ancestor. Like I said, you keep going back in time, you see like the first, them kind of organizing to try to get their people back. The one lady is wanting to go and get her daughter back, and she's like, my husband won't do anything. He only cares about the chora trees. And that's when the dude, it's like, I'll find you a shield, and he breaks a spear in half for her so that she can use it to fight with. And you're seeing the birth of the maidens of the spear. And I don't know if that's I don't know which one of those people. I'm assuming it's the man. That's very sexist of me, but it seems like you're looking through his point of view. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, a little bit.
Or maybe it's someone else watching this interaction between the two.
So do they not does no one else ever use the kind of short spear other than the maidens of the spear? Because it seems like kind of a natural culmination of what an Aiel would use as a weapon as not a weapon.
I think the maidens might be a little smaller just because they're kind of per person. Like if you were an exceptionally tall Aiel, then you might have longer spears, but they're used for more like close quarters fighting a spear as opposed to like, a typical spear that you would see like a pike or something that you would hunt a boar with. They're smaller, almost like they use them almost like a short sword.
Yeah. So what is Mandine? Is that a sept or is that a person?
Mundine is a person. I believe that's Rand's.
What's M-A-N-D? It says Rand. I clicked on another link. I went to Visions from Rhuidean,
mm-hmm.
and it says the Aiel settle in the Aiel Waste. Rand is Mundine, great grandson of Comran.
Okay.
So I'm probably going too far ahead now because it shows. I just saw how many visions there will be of.
Yeah, he's got 4 or 5 left, 6 maybe. I don't know. There's only 3 in this chapter, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So how many is there total?
It says there are 9 visions.
Yeah, so there'll be like 6 in the next chapter.
So the ancestry of Rand al'Thor. Charn, unknown, Kuamin, Jonai, Adon, Marind, Lewin, Jerdam, unknown, Roderick, unknown, Comran, unknown, Mundine, Jonduin, and then Rand al'Thor.
So Jonduin is his dad.
His dad. Okay.
Yeah.
I love that they're like super specific, even with the unknowns, and then there's just a ... Rand's dad, and then Rand.
Rand's dad, and then it's Rand, and then will he have babies? We don't know. I mean, that's kind of all I got really for this one.
Yeah, I'm trying to come up with something, but it's either a lot. This is either a 4-hour episode where we read the whole chapter, or we.
That's what it was, or cram. I was thinking about today. I was almost kind of like, and you were kind of like me. I'm like, I'm kind of like holidayed out. I'm a little tired. I don't know. I think I might be a little sick. I haven't been feeling too well, but
yeah,
it's like trying to do both of these chapters together. I think does neither one of them justice.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot less to talk about in this one. There's a fuck ton more to talk about in the next one, in my opinion. But for you, it's like this is just more confusing shit. Great, yeah. Rand's people do stuff. Great.
Well, it'll be great in 4 years, and you're like, remember when Rand first went in and he saw all that stuff? This is what that's for. Like, oh, I get it.
Well, and that's the thing. I think this is where they're gonna play with stuff a lot. I think we'll get a vision. You see in the trailer a vision of what I'm assuming to be Jonduin finding Rand's mom right after Tam takes off with the baby and screaming at the sky.
So here's something we could talk
about. So I'm
about.
assuming that would be one of the visions that Rand's going to see. I'm assuming.
Yeah, probably that, because I don't think they'll set up the whole splintering.
Oh, no, it's going to be a fucking bare bones. And then, what may happen is if Matt somehow goes through a doorway, he might get some like moments of his past. Moraine's probably going to get some weird stuff, maybe nods to the book, moments from the past, and whatever she does in reading. But other than that, I think we'll get some kind of version of these things, but it's going to be much different, obviously.
Yeah. Rand will be shown to come from a long line of badasses. And I wouldn't be surprised in the show. Maybe they do just do a straight Gen Aiel turn into Aiel and Tinkers. Just boop. We can track those 2 threads.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well make that kind of stuff straightforward, because those are the type of things that flesh out over, 5+ books, and it's just you just can't.
Yeah,
you just can't give that kind of background with all the stuff that you want to, and I realize that, but Yeah, I feel like this is gonna be, like I said, I really feel like this is gonna be awesome, and it'll be like yes, and then like and Amazon says fuck you.
Well, and even like all they have to do is do a pretty good season and get the next one out. Like eh, eh,
But that's not gonna
you-
happen. They haven't even started filming. They haven't talked about renewal or anything. And I guess they haven't. They didn't do that until seasons drop, the last 2 seasons. So
yeah. But yeah, the fact that there's no even discussions about it.
but yeah, or if there is, nobody's hearing about it. But I mean, like, I
Yeah.
just every time I watch something, it's like they talk about, you know, just the hype of it all, like that the haters are so much more of a small percentage, and I can't find any proof either way, to be honest.
Yeah, totally. And yeah, the only way to make it work is to kind of bang them out and keep whoever's kind of interested and just tell the story, because this is definitely one of those things where it's like
Well,
not
yeah.
many episodes stand on their own. Like if you were just like, if someone just like plopped in the middle of season 2 episode 4, they'd be like,
who are these people?
I fine, I guess. I mean, it's fantasy. Okay.
Yeah,
But
what's
like,
happening? I don't, it's most shows will give you at least one character or several characters that certain people will really identify with, latch on to, fall in love with, however you want to describe it.
yeah.
This one really, and wow, and let me just say the Twitter fan or X fandom, it's like very welcoming, very gay, and that is their words, not mine. Like that's you see all the time, and it's very accepting, and that is awesome. That doesn't always make for a good TV show,
And it's not like
I'm happy to see the things and to see, like, even I was super stoked about the casting of the characters and stuff, and I've been super excited about certain things, but other things it's been a real fucking wet blanket.
and this isn't like, 20 years ago this would have been amazing. Like, can you believe these characters? Like, girls, kids. Wow, that's great, and it is great. But if that's why you're into a show, there's lots of other shows doing it better and more often. Or I
Right.
shouldn't say.
Yeah.
I shouldn't even say better. The show is doing it very well, but there's 10. There's been 100 new shows have come out since the last season of The Wheel of Time.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, it's the media that we have access to is crazy. There was a time in my life when I had 5 TV channels, and if it was stormy that day, you didn't get 3 of them. So it's I know that sounds like I'm really fucking old, but we lived kind of out in the country, and we didn't get cable till I was in fucking high school. So it was like,
you guys,
the amount of stuff that we have to sift through to find something that you like is pretty astronomical.
Like, there was a time, people, where bars were suffering because X-Files came out Friday night. Like, that's the kind of shit we're talking about. Like bars, like, what happened to our audience? Oh, they're all home watching X-Files on Friday.
And why is that? Why don't they just, like, TiVo it or something? Because that didn't exist.
Because it didn't exist.
If you wanted to do it, you'd have to, like, set up your VHS tape thing and then still have to sit through the fucking commercials and everything else. It's crazy.
And that worked half the time. So you're still like, no, I should.
Oh, the power glitched halfway through and it stopped recording.
Shit, I forgot to. I put it on SP and not SLP. I missed the last 10 minutes.
True story.
I got into a show because I was one of those people that recorded X-Files on my VCR for a while, and I didn't set a stop time. I was like, don't fuck this up. And there was a show.
Just go on whatever was afterwards. You got hooked on a show afterwards because you're like,
yeah. There was a show called Strange Luck that was only out for 1 season, and I still miss that show because it was at the end of all of my X-Files tapes.
That's amazing. Strange Luck. I've never heard of it.
So everybody, we're just gonna take the rest of the year off. With all the family coming and all that stuff, I could maybe work something out, but I think what's working for this show is our regularity. So you'll know where to find us. That may change. Whatever we change to, we'll stay regular in the New Year's. We'll hype it on the X's and the Instagrams and the sound YouTube at What Sounds Awesome. So yeah, tell us, get excited about season 3 and come on here and talk to us. We'd like to talk a lot more about season 3. We're not going to get through much more of the Shadow Rising before we go into the rewatch. We're going to cheat on our rewatch and do the fan edits. So that'll be like 2 4-hour movies.
Sorry to cut you off. I tell you I talked to the editor?
I assumed you did.
I didn't speak with him, IRL. We just were texting over the X, and I didn't realize he had finished the season 2. I guess it's been out for like a year. Almost.
So it's on. Is it on Firemerk?
It's on Firemerk, yeah, I believe. And he said he's been twisted. He's been tweaking it. He said it was much more of I'm completely reading between the lines on this. It seemed like he got enough positive feedback about things that he did that were even minor clips and like stuff like that. Even like how I thought he fucked with the sound and the lighting. He moved some stuff around. He said, cut some stuff, moved it around. So I'm actually really excited to watch it. He seemed very pleased with it. And I told him when we record, and he really wants to come on again. So I was like, I told him I'd try to let him know when we were due. I told him, I don't know if we're still going to do this, but you said maybe do 2 episodes, like 2 episodes on each, like, watch half and watch the first one, do 2 episodes, breaking it down, and then 2 episodes on the second one.
Yeah. That way it'll be
one episode on the first one if you want, and do 2 episodes on the second one, since we haven't really seen it yet, but it's been a while.
It's been so long. I think I'm going to have a lot to say about season 1.
I think so too. Okay. I'm glad you feel that way.
So we're basically going to break it up into 4 movies.
Right.
For lack of a better version. So we'll do that in probably February. We'll probably start that, because then the hype train is going to really be rolling, and March 13th is going to be right around the corner. So, and we're going to hopefully try to, if nothing else, if Fatty and I can't figure out a way to watch season 3 together, we're definitely going to watch it and get on here. And I would love to do some live watches with you people out there. If you've already seen it and you want to watch it a second time with us, hop on here. We're not going to pause it or anything. So there'll be a lot of silence, but
speaking of silence, I'm here. There won't be silence.
There won't be silence, but it'll be, we're going to make it a real group experience to watch season 3 and apparently there's millions of people out there that are super excited. So we should be able to get some people on here. That's all I got for today. Including the editor. Like I said, I know he wants to try to come on to one of our YouTube live episodes when we're talking about the second one, at least. So absolutely. Yep. We'll get him a link and tell him the time and get his ass on here. Exactly. May you always have full stockings. In the famous words of Billy Bob Thornton, your name is Thurman Merman? Merry Christmas. The shitter was full. The shitter was full. Oh, you know what? If it's not too much, Clark, I'd like to get you something really nice. Hey, don't you go fall in love with us. We're taking it with us when we leave here next month. Snot. If he starts laying into your leg, best is just let him finish. May you always find water and shade. Next time you see me, I might have a puppy. And I'll be a year older. You will be. Actually, dude, if I don't talk to you, man, happy birthday, my brother. Thank you very much. Peace, weird Sagicorn. Peace, favor your sword, and always leave your laptop open for 15 minutes. May you always find water in the shade and put your dagger in that fucking horn box, baby. Later, give Lisa a big hug for him. Give Lisa a big hug for me. Y'all have a good Christmas, dude. All right. Love you. Merry Christmas. Peace.